The science behind coffee, from ancient medicine to modern miracle. Welcome back to Medical News Pulse, where we explore the fascinating intersection of everyday life and medical science. Today, we're diving deep into one of humanity's most beloved beverages, coffee. As you watch this video, millions of people around the globe are reaching for their morning cup, but have you ever wondered what's actually happening inside your body when you take that first sip? Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a complex biochemical experience that has shaped human civilization for over 15 centuries. From its mysterious origins in the highlands of Ethiopia to its role in modern medicine, coffee represents one of the most studied and widely consumed pharmacological substances on Earth. Today, we'll explore the remarkable journey of how a simple berry became humanity's favorite drug, and what cutting-edge medical research tells us about its effects on our bodies and minds. The ancient origins of a modern medicine. The story of coffee begins in the ancient kingdoms of Ethiopia, where the Coffea arabica plant first evolved in the mountainous regions. While the legendary tale of Koldi, the goat herder who discovered coffee's energizing properties in the 9th century, may be more folklore than fact, archaeological evidence suggests that indigenous Ethiopian communities have been consuming coffee in various forms for well over a millennium. What makes this discovery particularly fascinating from a medical perspective is that early coffee consumption wasn't recreational, it was medicinal. Ethiopian traditional healers recognized coffee's unique properties and incorporated it into their healing practices long before the rest of the world understood the science behind caffeine's effects. These early practitioners observed that coffee could combat fatigue, improve mental clarity, and even help with certain digestive ailments. The transformation of coffee from a regional medicinal plant to a global phenomenon began when Sufi mystics in Yemen adopted the practice of roasting coffee beans in the 15th century. These religious practitioners weren't simply seeking a pleasant beverage, they were looking for a way to maintain alertness during long nights of prayer and meditation. In essence, they were using coffee as a performance-enhancing drug for spiritual practices, unknowingly pioneering what we now understand as caffeine's cognitive enhancement properties. The medical applications of coffee in early Islamic medicine were sophisticated and varied. Physicians of the time prescribed coffee preparations for headaches, kidney stones, and what we would now recognize as symptoms of depression. While their understanding of biochemistry was limited, these early medical practitioners had identified many of coffee's genuine therapeutic effects through careful observation and documentation. The neurochemical revolution in your brain. To understand why coffee has such profound effects on human consciousness and performance, we need to examine what happens at the molecular level when caffeine enters your system. The process begins the moment coffee touches your lips, but the real magic happens when caffeine crosses the blood-brain barrier and begins its intricate dance with your neural chemistry. Caffeine's primary mechanism of action involves a case of molecular mimicry that would make any pharmaceutical designer envious. The caffeine molecule bears a striking structural resemblance to adenosine, a naturally occurring compound that serves as your brain's built-in sleep regulator. Throughout your waking hours, adenosine gradually accumulates in your brain tissue, binding to specific receptor sites and creating the progressive feeling of drowsiness that eventually drives you to sleep. When caffeine arrives on the scene, it acts as an adenosine antagonist, essentially hijacking these receptor sites and preventing adenosine from doing its job. This blockade doesn't just prevent sleepiness, it triggers a cascade of neurochemical events that fundamentally alter your brain's operating state. The blocked adenosine receptors cause an increase in neural firing rates, which in turn stimulates the release of several key neurotransmitters including dopamine, norepinephrine, and acetylcholine. The dopamine release is particularly significant from a medical standpoint, as this neurotransmitter plays crucial roles in motivation, reward processing, and motor control. This explains why coffee doesn't just wake you up, it can actually improve your mood and increase your sense of motivation and focus. The norepinephrine boost contributes to increased alertness and the feeling of being wired, while acetylcholine enhancement supports improved attention and learning capacity. But caffeine's neurological effects extend far beyond simple stimulation. Recent neuroimaging studies have revealed that regular coffee consumption can actually modify brain structure over time. Functional MRI scans show that habitual coffee drinkers develop increased connectivity between different brain regions, particularly in areas associated with executive function and working memory. This suggests that coffee doesn't just provide temporary cognitive enhancement, it may actually contribute to long-term improvements in brain function. The cardiovascular connection, one of the most extensively studied aspects of coffee consumption, involves its effects on cardiovascular health, and the findings have surprised many medical professionals. For decades, coffee was viewed with suspicion by cardiologists who worried about its potential to increase blood pressure and contribute to heart disease. However, large-scale epidemiological studies have painted a remarkably different picture. When you consume coffee, caffeine does indeed cause a temporary increase in blood pressure, typically ranging from 3 to 15 millimeters of mercury. This effect is most pronounced in individuals who don't regularly consume caffeine, and it usually subsides within a few hours. However, this acute response doesn't translate into long-term cardiovascular problems for most people. In fact, the opposite appears to be true. Multiple meta-analyses involving hundreds of thousands of participants have consistently shown that moderate coffee consumption is associated with a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, including heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure. The protective effect appears to follow a J-shaped curve, with optimal benefits occurring at approximately 3 to 5 cups per day. This finding has been so robust that some cardiologists now consider moderate coffee consumption to be cardioprotective. The cardiovascular benefits of coffee extend beyond caffeine alone. Coffee contains over 1,000 different bioactive compounds, many of which possess anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Chlorogenic acids, for example, can help reduce inflammation in blood vessel walls and improve endothelial function. These compounds may also help regulate blood sugar levels and improve insulin sensitivity, which indirectly benefits cardiovascular health. The relationship between coffee and heart rhythm deserves special attention, as many people worry about caffeine's potential to cause dangerous arrhythmias. While caffeine can indeed cause palpitations in sensitive individuals, large-scale studies have found no increased risk of serious arrhythmias like atrial fibrillation in moderate coffee drinkers. Some research even suggests that coffee consumption may be protective against certain types of heart rhythm disorders. Metabolic mastery and disease prevention. The metabolic effects of coffee consumption represent one of the most promising areas of current medical research. Coffee appears to be a powerful modulator of human metabolism, with effects that extend far beyond simple appetite suppression. When you drink coffee, caffeine stimulates the release of epinephrine and norepinephrine, hormones that increase metabolic rate and promote the breakdown of stored fats for energy. This metabolic boost isn't trivial. Studies show that caffeine can increase energy expenditure by 8 to 11% in healthy individuals, with effects lasting several hours after consumption. For someone with a typical daily energy expenditure of 2,000 calories, this could translate to an additional 160 to 220 calories burned per day from coffee consumption alone. This metabolic enhancement is one reason why caffeine is a common ingredient in weight loss supplements and why many people find it easier to maintain their weight when they're regular coffee drinkers. The relationship between coffee and type 2 diabetes prevention has been one of the most consistent findings in nutritional epidemiology. Multiple large-scale studies have found that people who drink coffee regularly have a significantly lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes, with some studies showing risk reductions of up to 50% in heavy coffee drinkers compared to non-drinkers. This protective effect appears to be dose-dependent, meaning that more coffee consumption is associated with greater protection, up to a certain point. The anti-diabetic effects of coffee involve multiple mechanisms. Chlorogenic acids can slow glucose absorption in the intestines and improve insulin sensitivity in peripheral tissues. Coffee consumption also appears to preserve pancreatic beta cell function, helping maintain the body's ability to produce insulin over time. Additionally, coffee's anti-inflammatory properties may help prevent the chronic low-grade inflammation that contributes to insulin resistance. Neuroprotection and cognitive enhancement. Perhaps the most exciting area of coffee research involves its potential neuroprotective effects. As our population ages and neurodegenerative diseases become increasingly common, scientists have turned their attention to identifying modifiable lifestyle factors that might help preserve brain function throughout the lifespan. Coffee has emerged as one of the most promising candidates. The evidence for coffee's neuroprotective effects is particularly strong for Parkinson's disease. Multiple prospective studies have found that coffee drinkers have a significantly lower risk of developing Parkinson's disease, with some studies showing risk reductions of up to 60% in the highest consumers compared to non-drinkers. This protective effect appears to be primarily due to caffeine, as decaffeinated coffee doesn't provide the same level of protection. The mechanism behind coffee's anti-Parkinson effects involves the complex interaction between caffeine and the brain's dopaminergic system. Parkinson's disease is characterized by the progressive loss of dopamine-producing neurons in a brain region called the substantia nigra. Caffeine's ability to enhance dopaminergic activity and protect these neurons from oxidative damage may help prevent or slow the development of Parkinson's disease. Research into coffee's effects on Alzheimer's disease and general cognitive decline has yielded similarly promising results. Several longitudinal studies have found that moderate coffee consumption is associated with slower cognitive decline and reduced risk of dementia in older adults. The neuroprotective compounds in coffee, including caffeine and various antioxidants, may help protect against the accumulation of amyloid plaques and tau tangles that characterize Alzheimer's disease. The dark side, understanding coffee's risks. While the medical evidence strongly supports the health benefits of moderate coffee consumption for most people, it's crucial to acknowledge that coffee isn't universally beneficial. Understanding who should limit or avoid coffee consumption is an essential part of responsible medical advice. Caffeine sensitivity varies dramatically among individuals, largely due to genetic differences in how quickly the body metabolizes caffeine. Some people possess genetic variants that cause them to metabolize caffeine very slowly, leading to prolonged and potentially uncomfortable effects from even small amounts of coffee. These individuals may experience anxiety, insomnia, or heart palpitations from doses of caffeine that others would find barely noticeable. Pregnant women represent another population that should approach coffee consumption with caution. High caffeine intake during pregnancy has been associated with increased risk of miscarriage, low birth weight, and developmental delays. Most medical organizations recommend limiting caffeine intake to less than 200 milligrams per day during pregnancy, equivalent to about 1 cup of strong coffee. Individuals with certain medical conditions should also exercise caution with coffee consumption. People with severe anxiety disorders may find that caffeine exacerbates their symptoms, while those with gastroesophageal reflux disease may experience increased acid production and worsening symptoms. Additionally, some medications can interact with caffeine, either increasing its effects or having their own effectiveness altered by caffeine consumption. The timing of coffee consumption can also impact its health effects. Consuming coffee late in the day can interfere with sleep quality, even in people who don't feel immediately stimulated by caffeine. Poor sleep quality can negate many of coffee's health benefits and contribute to various health problems over time. The future of coffee medicine. As our understanding of coffee's complex effects on human health continues to evolve, researchers are exploring new frontiers in coffee science. Personalized medicine approaches are being developed that could help individuals optimize their coffee consumption based on their genetic makeup, lifestyle factors, and health goals. Emerging research is also investigating the potential therapeutic applications of specific coffee compounds beyond caffeine. Some studies are exploring whether concentrated coffee extracts could be used as pharmaceutical agents for treating neurodegenerative diseases or metabolic disorders. The anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties of coffee compounds are being studied for their potential role in cancer prevention and treatment. The field of chronobiology is providing new insights into how the timing of coffee consumption can be optimized for maximum health benefits. Research suggests that consuming coffee at specific times relative to your circadian rhythm can enhance its beneficial effects while minimizing potential drawbacks. Conclusion: your daily dose of medicine. As we've explored throughout this deep dive into coffee science, your daily cup of coffee is far more than a simple beverage. It's a complex pharmacological intervention with profound effects on virtually every system in your body. From its ancient origins as a medicinal plant in Ethiopia to its current status as one of the most extensively studied compounds in modern medicine, coffee represents a remarkable example of how traditional knowledge and cutting-edge science can converge. The evidence overwhelmingly supports the health benefits of moderate coffee consumption for most adults. Regular coffee drinking appears to provide protection against several major diseases, enhance cognitive function, and potentially extend lifespan. However, like any powerful substance, coffee requires respect and understanding to be used optimally. The key to harnessing coffee's health benefits lies in finding your personal sweet spot, the amount and timing that provides maximum benefit with minimal adverse effects. For most healthy adults, this appears to be somewhere between 3 to 5 cups per day, consumed primarily in the morning and early afternoon. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of this ancient beverage, one thing remains clear: coffee has earned its place not just in our daily routines, but in the pantheon of substances that can significantly impact human health and well-being. The next time you take a sip of your morning coffee, remember that you're participating in a tradition that spans centuries and consuming a substance that modern science has revealed to be one of nature's most remarkable medicines. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the science of coffee. Don't forget to subscribe to Medical News Pulse for more fascinating explorations of how everyday substances impact our health, and let us know in the comments what medical topics you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, enjoy your coffee, your body will thank you for it.